We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
As Kennedy's words ignited the nation's support for the Apollo program, they also sparked the interest of a junior high school student from Wisconsin, John Wolfram.
We read comic books, Buck Rogers and all that stuff, and it was just kind of unbelievable at the time that they're talking about going to the moon.
Years later, when Wolfram became a Navy SEAL serving in Vietnam, he had no idea that he would one day be playing a part in Apollo history.
But I didn't know that our underwater demolition Team 11 would be called upon to rescue Apollo 10 and 11.
On July 20th, 1969, Kennedy's goal was finally realized.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
Lunar module Eagle landed on the moon, and Armstrong took his famous first step.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Position 1330.
But then, 4 days later, Apollo 11 splashed down in the North Pacific Ocean, 900 miles southwest of Hawaii. The USS Hornet, the primary recovery ship, was en route as a Sikorsky Sea King helicopter carried Wolfram and his team to the capsule. It was a moment that Wolfram remembers like it was yesterday.
I'm standing in the door. I know history is about to happen. The world is watching. I feel my heart pounding. I'm excited as can be to be the first guy in the water. I realize that my job is to stabilize it, and I jump in the water, swim up, and do my job, and I guess the rest is history.
Armstrong was the first man on the moon, and Wolfram was the first human the astronauts saw back on Earth.
I swam up. I looked in the hatch window to see if the astronauts were okay. They gave me a thumbs up. I relayed it to a helicopter that was above. They had a NASA doctor.
And with the whole world watching, Wolfram was dressed to make an impression.
We had these flower decals, and it was kind of a statement during the 1960s, during a very controversial war in Vietnam. And I wanted to have an opportunity to give the peace sign once or twice out there, and which we did.
After the capsule was stabilized, biological isolation suits were brought to the astronauts as a safeguard against potentially harmful moon bugs.
No one really knew what was on the moon. Fortunately, there weren't any dangerous germs, but if there would have been, we had a name for it. We're going to call it the lunatic.
Wolfram's also got a lighthearted response for people who think that the moon landing was faked.
Well, there was 9 ships out there, 9,000 men on those ships, 54 aircraft, and with all the NASA personnel that was involved, 450,000 people behind computers developing all of this. I think if it's a hoax, we all should get an Academy Award for acting.
But there was nothing more genuine than Wolfram's reaction to returning to the USS Hornet 50 years later.
It brings back a lot of memories. It was a very momentous time in my life, exciting to be a part of it, and it's just something I'll never forget.
For KPIX 5, I'm Brian Hackney.